Well, we got some details on the new basketball league that is coming that is funded by a public investment group from Saudi Arabia. Did a video yesterday. Nika Agumake, she signed what is believed to be a pretty good sizable deal. No figures have come out on it as of yet. By the way, she's the WNBA PA Players Union president. And yeah, it is in here that this was done partially as a tactic in the direction of the WNBA owners.
The world of basketball simply exploded. WNBA players are being offered multi-million-dollar salaries by Jake B. In fact, Caitlin Clark currently has an offer that might make her more wealthy than the majority of NBA players. We are discussing generational wealth from a single abroad season. Everyone in sports is going crazy over the money linked to Caitlin's name after Saudi Arabia's Project B recently arrived and wrote a blank check. To be honest, this is the biggest nightmare that the WNBA has ever had. What are your thoughts, then? Is it better for Caitlin to stay with the WNBA or just accept the money and run? Leave a remark and inform me immediately.
Project B, which is offering players serious money. It's not scandalous money, but it's not. It says here, it's offering players $2 million plus per year. Apparently, the star player contracts start at $2 million. Not the $200K that they had in Unrivaled, the $2 million. They are paying 10x.
When it comes to sports, the Middle East isn't playing around. These individuals purchased whole football leagues. They captured the biggest names in golf. They're coming for basketball now. The Grand Canyon is not as deep as their coffers. Not a joke. And you know who is at the top of their list of things to buy? Yes, that is Caitlin Clark. This is the same woman that made even casual fans genuinely care about women's basketball, packed venues, and crashed streaming platforms. Here, Project B isn't playing around at all. Numbers ranging from 50 million to potentially 100 million are being reported. $1 billion deal is even the subject of some rumors. Yes, you heard correctly. $1 billion with a capital B. Now, it doesn't even matter if something is entirely true or merely media hype. The message is very clear. They are prepared to pay whatever it takes to obtain Caitlin because they want her.
Project B officials have said the 66 players who they want for their league. So there's 66 players that they are targeting. I wonder who those 66 players could possibly be. The format calls for 6 teams of 11 women each will receive larger salaries than those currently offered by the WNBA. While the financial specifics haven't been disclosed, the potential of more lucrative compensation comes at an important moment for women's professional basketball. This article is already comical.
The WNBA must be experiencing severe heart palpitations at the moment. Caitlin is on a rookie deal that pays her almost nothing in relation to her true value. In the meantime, a Brinks truck is literally being backed up to her door by Saudi Arabia. Here's the problem, though. The money isn't the only factor here. Respect is at issue here. It has to do with worth. The goal is to demonstrate to the world the true value of women's basketball when a wealthy individual chooses to make an investment. For a moment, let's be honest. For many years, the WNBA has underpaid its stars. These ladies have been advised to be patient, comprehend the economics, and just develop their brands gradually. Everyone suddenly realizes that women's basketball has always been valuable until Caitlin Clark steps up, fills arenas, and sets viewership records. Simply put, the league refused to cover the cost. Project B now enters the picture and declares, "Hey, we'll pay what she's actually worth." To be honest, the arrogance is stunning.
I've ever seen. In the middle of the craziest negotiations for a new CBA, the president has now signed with another league who promotes their league as the rival league to the WNBA.
Consider, and here's the thing, it becomes even more fascinating. Mega OWA Mikai has already been signed. Yes, the president of the WNBA Players Association herself. People, that is not a coincidence. That is just strategy. They took hold of the woman who is aware of every player's desires, grievances, and what it would take to persuade them to quit. Hiring the general of the opposition to command your own army is analogous to that. To be honest, it's very clever.
Across my phone that says Neko Gumake becomes the first player known to join new Project B League in Europe and Asia. Neko Gumake, the president of the WNBPA, in the middle of these CBA negotiations where literally everything is on fire right now in the world of women's basketball. Everything is burning. Neka is announced as the very first player who will be joining this league that not only is a league that runs during the off season, but they have marketed themselves as a league that will rival the WNBA. It's a 5v5 league.
Consider what NA has to offer. She has participated in numerous bargaining sessions. She is fully aware of the players who are dissatisfied with their present circumstances. She is aware of many who are fed up with performing abroad in dubious circumstances in order to earn a respectable living. She knows everything inside and out. She is currently employed at the competition. Right now, the WNBA must be in total fear. Project B isn't merely distributing funds at random. They have investors who include former Facebook executives, co-founders of Skype, and even WNBA champions like Elena Da Don and Candace Parker. This isn't a fly-by-night business that will fail after just one season. These folks take things very seriously. With $5 billion in funds secured, they intend to hold competitions throughout Asia, Europe, and Latin America beginning in November. $5 billion. For those in the rear, allow me to reiterate that. $5 billion. The WNBA as a whole does not have that much money. Not even near. This is money from the Middle East. We are discussing the amount of money that allows them to decide on Tuesday to purchase a league and have it fully funded by Wednesday. The amount of money that Caitlin Clark is being offered. One more line item in the budget is $100 million. Let's now discuss the implications for Caitlin in particular. In women's basketball, she is already the most well-known figure. Despite having more media attention, shoe agreements, and endorsements than most NBA players, her WNBA wage is quite pathetic in comparison to her true worth. She has the opportunity to truly get paid what she is worth thanks to Project B. What the free market decides she's worth, not what some outdated league structure dictates she should make. And let's stop for a moment before anyone starts talking about loyalty. Isn't loyalty a two-way street? Despite paying these women poverty wages for decades, was the WNBA still committed to them? When players had to travel abroad each summer in order to pay for housing, was the league loyal? Loyalty does not create wealth for future generations, nor does it pay bills. With a single contract, Saudi Arabia is giving Caitlin the opportunity to establish her entire family for life. However, the detractors are already out in full force. They claim that she should remain in the United States, that she owes the WNBA money, and that accepting money from elsewhere is improper. However, these same individuals remained silent when NBA players signed contracts with Chinese shoe firms or when the league went out of its way to appease foreign markets. But now that women's basketball has choices, a moral dilemma has arisen. It's astounding how hypocritical they are. These are some common misconceptions concerning the Middle East's approach to sports investment. They don't intend to lose money by doing this. They are doing this in order to diversify their economy, develop their worldwide brand, and become significant participants in international sports. Cristiano Ronaldo and other players were brought to their league by them. They used golf to accomplish this, starting LIV Golf and stealing the biggest stars on the PGA. They are starting with women's basketball because they recognize its unrealized potential. For the WNBA, the timing couldn't be worse. They are currently attempting to negotiate a new media rights agreement. Thanks in large part to Caitlin, attendance has significantly increased, and they are now gaining pace. Then, just when the league most needs their best players, Project B appears and threatens to steal them. It's similar to witnessing someone spend hours building a sandcastle just to have it all washed away by a massive wave. Let's take a moment to discuss the other players. According to reports, Angel Ree, who has had an amazing influence on the league, is also being courted. Offers for millions of dollars are being considered by even average WNBA players. Superstars are no longer the only focus of this. By giving everyone more money than they could possibly imagine, Project B aims to destroy the entire league. How can you possibly compete with that? You can't, is the response. Not at all. Saudi oil money is not available to the WNBA. They are unable to just raise everyone's pay tenfold. They are limited by revenue sharing, real economics, and decades of underinvestment. In the meantime, the house is actually a pallet, and Project B is playing with house money. Some are drawing comparisons between this and Diana Taurasi's 2015 WNBA season, when she played in Russia and earned $1.5 million while taking a break. That was a big deal back then. Now, in comparison to what Project B is providing, that seems like pocket change. The WNBA's conventional power over players is rapidly diminishing since the game has radically transformed. Consider the benefits that Project B offers in addition to the money. Playing basketball all year long means earning money all year long. No more mediocre overseas grinding. Playing in deserted gyms in Russia or Turkey is over. They are offering top-notch facilities, exposure abroad, and the opportunity to transform women's basketball into a truly global sport that is genuinely very compelling, even beyond the WNBA's whole business model, which has been predicated on players having few options. Yes, they could travel abroad, but doing so would require them to spend months away from home, deal with dubious leagues, and hope that the money would come in. Project B is now providing the same foreign finance, but with funds from Saudi Arabia and American organizations. That is a complete game changer. The elephant in the room needs to be addressed. Saudi Arabia's human rights record has drawn criticism from some quarters. That's, however, when we discuss the NBA's relationship with China or when U.S. corporations conduct billions of dollars worth of business with nations with dubious reputations, where is that same enthusiasm? Athletes have always had to make difficult decisions regarding who they work for and where they play. This is not any different. The fact that Project B is actually abiding by the rules is what makes this situation so crazy. Nobody is being forced to leave. Simply put, they are providing better terms. That is the pinnacle of free market capitalism. After years of the WNBA claiming that the market sets pay, the market is now clearly speaking. It turns out that prices increase when real competition is introduced. I mean, who could have guessed that? Defense has been the WNBA's standard answer. By highlighting the importance of playing in America and discussing joint brand development, they are attempting to minimize the threat. Ultimately, though, they are just unable to match these offers. Everyone is aware that they are literally unable to compete on pay. They are now attempting to appeal to loyalty and passion, which is a losing tactic when someone is offering you generational wealth. This choice is perhaps simpler than most people realize, especially for Caitlin. In terms of influence and attention, she has already dominated the WNBA. She already represents women's basketball. What else does she need to demonstrate at home? Her legacy is not diminished by accepting the Project B funds. If anything, it demonstrates that she is aware of her value and isn't scared to ask for it. Additionally, consider the precedent that this established. Every aspiring women's basketball great now understands they have choices if Caitlin wins. They are not required to simply take whatever the WNBA has to offer. They are able to play overseas for actual money rather than merely extra cash. It permanently alters the balance of power in women's basketball. My inner conspiracy theorist questions whether Project B deliberately targeted the WNBA because they were aware of its weakness. The entire roster is essentially one decent offer away from leaving because the league has been underpaying players for so long. It seems as though they have been accumulating potential energy for years, and then Project B appeared and discharged it all at once. What would happen if Caitlin accepted this offer? The biggest draw for the WNBA is lost. Their media rights talks suffer greatly, attendance declines, and viewership falls. When other players witness Caitlin receiving compensation, they begin to demand the same or simply quit for Project B. The WNBA might be relegated to a developing league for players trying to get the attention of Project B scouts in a year or two. Although it seems dramatic, that is a feasible scenario. Take a look at what happened to boxing when important matches were held in Saudi Arabia. Take a look at what happened to golf after LEV was introduced. When someone with more money entered the market, traditional leagues and organizations quickly lost clout. These same forces also affect the WNBA. Ironically, the WNBA had years to deal with this problem. They could have fairly compensated their stars. They could have more fairly divided the revenue. They may have made growth and marketing investments. Rather, they just kept things as they were, making sure that players had nowhere else to go. They now have another place to go, and that place pays them a salary that truly represents their worth. Caitlin Clark is at the center of the recent, irreversible transformation of the basketball world. Project B shouldn't be playing games, and it isn't. This situation is just getting started, so if you think this story is insane, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Tell me whether you would accept the money by leaving a comment. I'll see you at the next.